anxiety disorders, high blood pressure, so many things. Cancer is on the rise. So now this is even in developed countries where there are better facilities, state-of-the-art diagnostics, sophisticated equipment, scanning, all of that. So certainly there is increased longevity, yes. Better health, not so clear. Now, is there a fear about health? Is there a fear about the rising costs of trying to maintain the health? How many people think so? Can you raise your hand? Yes. Yes, we can see many raised hands. So this is an obvious concern. So what do we do? So if you look at what is health, in the dictionary, it just says when you don't have illness or injury, that is health. But if you look at the WHO definition, which was given way back in 1948, it is said that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease. So this is quite a sobering thought. Are we really looking at health like this? Or are we largely looking at, giving medication to the physical body? Because that is not going to do it. If this is the definition of health as given by WHO, then we need to do something more. We were talking about fever. So fever is, in fact, you were right, beneficial for the body. Why? Because it is an indicator. It is trying to tell you that there is a problem, that all is not well in the body. So that is one part. Because if there was no fever, then how do you decide? How do you know that there is a problem? You may not come to know. Besides this, when there is a fever, the cells, the blood cells that are responsible for getting rid of the infection, they are able to do their job better. They travel to the site of infection faster. They are able to engulf these bacteria and get rid of them faster. So they are actually being helped by this slight rise in temperature. So when we just bring the fever down, what is it doing? We are just sort of, cutting out the indicator, but nothing is changing with the disharmony in the body inside. So it's just like if you have a wound and you cover it with a band-aid, you don't see the wound, but the wound is still there, isn't it? So just like that, just reducing the fever is not the issue. The issue is to try to get rid of the disharmony that the fever is indicating to. Now, what about a perspective on the human being? Is the human being just this visible body, or is it something more? And what about the purpose of a human being? So if we don't understand the reality of the human being, we can't understand the purpose of the human being also. So this is a proposal for you that human being is a coexistence of self and body. Self being the consciousness unit and the body being the material unit. So this is a proposal. All of this talk is going to be in the form of proposals that you can look at and you can try to check from within you. And if it makes sense to you, you can explore it some more. If it doesn't make sense to you, you can discard it. But essentially, it's not about my stating something and trying to convince you. It is about putting forward a proposal that you can try to check for yourself. And of course, once we understand this reality that the human being is coexistence of these two units together, then we can also talk about the purpose. So going forward, I hope you can see this, that this is essentially what we have been saying, that human being has these two units, self and body, in coexistence. Now, if you ask yourself, who makes the decisions, you or the body? What would you say? How many people think that you make the decision, not the body? Can you raise your hand? Some hands are raised. How many people think that the body makes the decision? Few hands are raised there, but then there are also many hands that have not come up. So perhaps we are not sure. Let's say, we go for enjoying a movie. We go to see a movie. Who is enjoying the movie? You or the body? What is that? Me. Nice. Who is feeling high? Who feels happy? Who feels elated? Who feels low? Who feels sad? Body or me? Me. Me. So let's look at these two units. Now, if we look at myself, I have a need for happiness. I as in self. You can say. So you want to be happy and you want to be happy all the time. How do you know this? So you ask yourself, is there any moment in the day that you want to be unhappy? Is there? There may be many moments where we are unhappy, but do you want to be at any time unhappy? Yes? No? No. That's very clear, right? So this need, my need, or the need of the self, or the need of the consciousness is for happiness. It has to do with feelings. So it's a qualitative kind of a need, and it's a continuous kind of need. If you look at the body, we all know, we have read that, the body grows, and if you give it the right kind of food, it grows well, and so on. The need of the body is for physical things, physiochemical things, like food, like clothes, and so on. This is a temporary need. You eat some breakfast, you're hungry, you eat breakfast, then, the stomach gets full, you give a gap. After 3-4 hours, again, there is hunger, you feel the need for food, you eat, you have your lunch, again, there is a gap where you don't need food. So it's like a temporary kind of a need. It's not a continuous need. And it is a quantitative type of need. So somebody eats 1 idli, somebody eats 2, somebody eats 4, somebody eats 8, somebody may even eat 10, 12, 15, but there is nobody who can eat an unlimited number of idlis, isn't it? So it is a quantitative need. It is required in some limited quantity which can be measured. So these are, differences that you can see when you talk, or, when you explore this possibility of this self and the body forming the human being. So are these needs of different types or of the same type? What do you think? Same or different? What is it? Different. Different. Yeah. Are both of these important, do you think? Or only one will do? Both are important. Nice. Now, what is the next proposal is that the need of the self for happiness is fulfilled from within the self by having what is being termed the right understanding and the right feeling. What is this right understanding and right feeling? So every culture, every tradition has had this quest for seeking the truth. This seeking the truth, trying to see everything in the existence exactly the way it is. That is what is being referred to here as right understanding. Understanding correctly everything that is there in the existence. That may seem like a very tall order, but time being short, I won't go into that. But if you all are interested, I will give the references that you can refer to later. And when you understand everything in the existence, you also understand your relationships with every other unit in the existence. And for every other unit, you have the right feeling in you. And this is what is fulfilling for the need, the self of, the need of the self for happiness. On the other hand, if you look at the body, the need of the body for the physical things, physiochemical things, is fulfilled by physiochemical things, like we talked of. So both of these types of needs have to be understood separately, Both of them have to be fulfilled separately. The needs of the body can't be fulfilled by right understanding and right feeling. You are very hungry and somebody is trying to teach you all kinds of things about understanding, about feeling. That's not going to cut it, because you need to give food also. You need to get food. And if it is happiness, the need of the self for happiness can't be fulfilled by physiochemical things. So you want to have this feeling of respect. You don't want it sometimes, you want it all the time. You go to your friend's house and it's lunchtime. He has this huge spread on the dining table, and there's a lot of food. You're hungry, you want to eat. And he, puts the food on the plate and just, kind of dumps it in front of you and says, "Here, eat." You probably don't get to eat this kind of food in your house. Will you want to eat it now? Yes, no? No. Why not? Because you feel disrespect. How can he say something like this? I don't want to eat this food. So now you can see that the need of the body is fulfilled from within. The need of the body is fulfilled by the physiochemical things. The need of the self is fulfilled from within the self. So this is an important point, which is very important for us to understand. The need of the consciousness is fulfilled by the consciousness. Need of the material is fulfilled by the material. So hold that thought. We'll come back to that later. Now, if you look at the self is subtle. You're not able to see it with the gross eyes, right? And it is also making all the decisions. Right now, we asked about all the questions, and you can see that you are deciding something. If you look at the body you can see with the gross eyes. It's gross. You can see it. And it is, in fact, under the control of the subtle. You command your body to jump, it jumps. You tell your body to go to the food, it goes to the food. You feel the hunger, you decide, I want to eat this, and you instruct the body to go there, pick up the food, put it in the mouth. In all of this, if you look at your responses to things in your interactions, you are the one making the choices. The body is following whatever you tell it to do. So the body has no choice. Supposing you think that packaged food is better than the food out, on the street. So you will instruct the body to eat packaged food. But if that packaged food is contaminated, then what? You will instruct the body to eat. The body will eat that contaminated food. But that contaminated food is going to create havoc in the body. The body has no choice. The body will just follow. But it will happen in a very definite manner in the body. You eat food that is nurturing for the body, it nurtures the body. You eat food that is damaging for the body, it will damage the body. Body doesn't have a choice to say yes, no, I want it, don't want it. It will just take it. So if we don't understand this, if we don't have clarity about human being self and body, if we assume that whatever we see in the mirror as the body, that's all that is me, that's, the human being is the body, if we assume that, then there is a huge problem, because now what happens, I think I am the body, but I have a need for happiness and I try to get it through the body because I think I'm the body. So I get this, I like the taste of certain kinds of food and I try to get happiness through that taste. And I want more and I want more and I want more, because my need for happiness is a continuous need. But when I try to get it from the food, there is a huge problem, because now I'm, eating excessively, more than the body requires. I'm overindulging. I'm eating perhaps junk food because I find it tasty. But the result is what? The body is going to get harmed. The body doesn't have a choice. So you'll notice that there are a large number of diseases that are psychosomatic. What do we mean by psychosomatic? Psyche has to do with the mind, which is part of the self. Soma has to do with the body. So in the self, in your mind, you have a certain idea that this is tasty, I like this, I want this, I'll do this. But the problem is created in the body. And then what do? We give medicine to the body. A good example of this is lifestyle disorders. All of these lifestyle disorders, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, so many things are there. So the problem with this is you can't get the continuity of happiness that you want. The body is getting harmed. The body is running into ill health. And of course, there is a major impact on your family, on society, in all of nature. So in the family, relationships get strained. Many complaints are related to each other because of the feeling. You don't talk to your spouse because your spouse talked to you not nicely, with disrespect. Somebody talked to you, shouted, you don't talk to them for days. And then when we try to patch up, we give material gifts in the home of patching up. And they don't help because ultimately, a physical gift, is it going to fulfill the need of the self? No. So ultimately, when we don't understand this, when we don't understand existence, when we don't understand nature, we are going to have not much concern for the environment, for nature, for the family, for society, and we are not sure how to be fulfilled ourselves. And if we are unhappy, we share this unhappiness with others, make them also unhappy. So how to go about it? So we said that human being is coexistence of self and body. So when we talk of health, we should be talking of health in the self and health in the body, not just one, but both. And what would be the priority? Since I'm the one, the self is the one making the decisions, the self is the one that is central to the existence of a human being. So the priority should be health in the self, should be first. Next comes health in the body. So let's look at that. I'm sorry, I'm going ahead, but perhaps when we have time, we can do something more. So if you look at the health in the self, now in the self, there is this imagination going on, which we sometimes refer to as the lower self. I think something, I feel something, right? And this is giving instructions to the body, and through the body, now it is resulting in interaction with other human beings, interaction with the rest of nature. But I want you to pay attention to this. Imagination is, you can say, my state at present, what I am, my competence, you can call it. And then there is something that we refer to as the higher self. You may be familiar with the term conscience. There are many names that people give to it: natural acceptance, what I really want to be, my inner voice, my intention, my purpose, right understanding. All of these refer to that space within me that we consider as the pure part within me, the higher self. So when there is harmony in my feelings and thoughts, when my feelings and thoughts are in line with my higher self, then there is this harmony within me. And that is what is referred to as a healthy self. So not that I am influenced by the outside, by ads, by what somebody said, but rather I pay attention to my higher self and I bring my feelings and thoughts in line with that. For example, your natural acceptance, if you ask yourself, what is the purpose of food? Food is for nurturing the body. So that is the answer you get from your natural acceptance, from within you. But if you look at the imagination, sometimes you eat food just for taste. You say, okay, this gives me happiness, so I will have this. Sometimes your friends invite you over and they say, come on, have this, have that, drink this, have this pizza, drink this Coke, whatever. And so sometimes you think, okay, it will be fun, and you go and have that. Now what is happening? When you eat food that is nurturing for the body, you are in sync with your higher self. When you eat these other foods, somewhere you are not in sync. There is contradiction within you. This contradiction within, this is the state of unhappiness. This is the state of disharmony in the self. This is an unhealthy self. And certainly it will have some impact on the body also. So this was about, and incidentally, when there is disharmony, this contradiction, very often we refer to it as stress. And stress is something that has been linked to more than 80-90% of doctor visits by people for health issues. So now you can see what a huge impact health in the self can make on the body. So health in the human being, we talked of health in the self. We'll quickly come to the health of the body, and then we'll move forward with, maybe if we can finish this in time. If you look at the body is an orderly system. It has trillions and trillions of cells, lots of microorganisms, but everything seems to be working in harmony. You can see when you see a newborn baby, more than 95 to 97% of babies are born healthy. What does that tell you? That there is something that is working in the body, which is, all these organs seem to be working very well. But then we don't use the body rightly. We don't understand the body. We don't understand what will keep the body healthy. And so therefore, it then starts going into disharmony. So let's look at this. If I am a healthy self and I have right understanding and right feeling, I have a feeling of responsibility towards the body. With this responsibility, I make an effort to nurture the body with the right kind of food, to protect the body, to rightly utilize the body. And all of this, when I do that, leads to health in the body. Then the body acts according to what I say, and there is harmony. The body continues to stay in harmony. At least I don't disrupt that harmony. So what we can do, I'm sorry, this has, for some reason, it has not shown up properly. So my program for staying healthy, where it says A, the one over there was supposed to say intake and routine. And we'll come to that. Intake is everything I take in, the air, water, sunlight, food. We think intake means food, but this is, in fact, everything that we take in, air, water, sunlight, everything. Everything that we take in through our senses. And when we talk of routine, it is about, what time we get up, what time we go to sleep, what time we eat our food. All of that impacts the health. That was one, in staying healthy. Two has to do with labor and exercise. Labor is working with nature. Like you do some gardening. You do, you plant vegetables in the soil. You work with nature. That is labor. Exercise, we all know what exercise is. Third thing for staying healthy, by the way, this is a proposal, an example of what you can do to keep the body healthy. You can make your own programs, your plans. This is just one example. So in the third part, you can have postures for regulating the internal and external body organs. In various traditions, there are various things. In our tradition, we have the example of yoga. Like in China, they have Tai Chi and so many others. And you can have regulated breathing. Again, in our tradition, we have pranayam. There could be many traditions related to the breath. So if you do some of these practices, one can stay largely healthy. More than 95% of problems can be taken care of. If they are not, once in a while it happens, we are not able to maintain these things, then we go for medicine or, surgical treatments and so on. So if you look at intake, like I said, includes everything that we take in through all the sense organs. But we'll talk largely about food because not having enough time, we'll just do a brief overview. So to maintain health, you want to eat food that is nutritious. It should be digestible. If at the age of 50 or 60, I am eating what type of food the teenager eats, obviously I can't digest it. So understanding what to eat in terms of what is digestible by the body. Of course, we look at taste. The waste should be excretable. This is extremely important and we don't give enough attention to it. Food needs to be rich in fiber. Otherwise, what happens is when it is very fine and there is hardly any fiber, now it has to go through our intestines, which are like 26 to 28 or sometimes even 30 feet long. In that long range of intestine, which is like at least 4-5 times our height. So you can imagine that long a stretch, the waste matter has to go. And if the fiber is not there, the waste just gets sticks to the lining of the intestine and it creates problems. Toxins are released and they keep circulating in the blood and that causes a problem. So if you look at this, we talked about nutritious food that is nurturing for the body. That is one thing. Digestible. So you must see how much to eat. There is a good rule that don't eat yourself, don't fill yourself up to the neck, but have some solid, also leave place for liquid and some place for air so that there is mixing. If you put things in a mixie and you put all solid, say you have to make coconut chutney and you put coconut pieces right to the top and you try to run the mixie, will it churn? Yes, no? Will it? Am I audible? Vinay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. They have to
Okay.
unmute.
Okay. So let me just repeat that example. So if you put something in the mixie, you put coconut all the way to the top and you try to churn the mixie, it won't turn. But if you take out some of the coconut, if you put a little water, you leave some air at the top, now you run the mixie, do you think it will run?
Yes.
Now it will run, isn't it?
Yes.
So same thing is happening in the stomach. Things have to churn. So eat food, but also give place for liquid, leave some space for air so that mixing can happen. That might be a good thing to do. So there is a whole list of things, grains, pulses, fruit, so on. When you change the form, the quality may change. So I won't go into too much detail, but just that if you stay closer to the natural form, you will find that it is more useful for the health of the body. The more you process it, the more you, add things to it and mix it up and, cook it more and more and all that happens. The processing happens, you make it very fine, all of that. There you run into problems. A word about plant-based food and animal-based food. I won't go too much into detail. There is a very good essay by somebody called Dr. Milton T. Mills, who has described a whole lot of list of, things where he has looked at the digestive system of animals that are carnivorous animals and animals that are herbivorous animals. And then he has looked at human beings, and what he found was that the digestive system in human beings seems to be similar in design to that of herbivores. So is our body designed for plant-based food or animal-based food? That question comes up. So you can look at that article also, but I won't go much into this. I want to quickly go through the, circadian rhythm, how we have the routine. So again, this may look like a very complicated slide. I'll just give a couple of examples. If you wake up early, 6 a.m., and, there is always this question about which should be your biggest meal of the day. Some people say eat breakfast like a king, and, there is something like that. So which meal should be your biggest meal of the day? This will give a hint of that. When, 6 o'clock, the sun rises. As the sun rises, you see many changes happening in nature. Leaves are opening up. As the sun becomes right on your head, it's very hot outside. So many things. When the sun is setting, the leaves tend to go to sleep in the trees. So things are happening inside the body also that we may not be aware of. So when you wake up in the morning, the sun comes up. At this time, cleansing processes are happening in the body. So you'll find that, phlegm and all comes up in the morning and you want to spit it out and all of that is happening. At this time, if you eat a cleansing kind of a, small breakfast, it will be most helpful for the body. What is a cleansing type of breakfast? Fruit is a good choice. Fruits are called cleansing foods. Then after 3 to 4 hours gap, by 12 o'clock, so that's why breakfast, if you can finish by 8 o'clock, that's a good way to do it. Then there is a gap of 4 hours. Then you can have a moderate sized, fairly decent lunch around noon. Why noon? Because that's the time of maximum heat. That is also the time of maximum sort of activity of your digestive fire. Your digestion works at its maximum then. At least by 2 o'clock, you should finish it, because after that, the processes of assimilation start happening in the body. And then if you put food in the stomach, it doesn't get digested properly. Similarly, at night, dinner time, once the sun has gone down, your digestive capacity has come down. So eat early, eat light. Soups are a very good choice at dinner time. If soups are not enough, mild, some light grain. And keep a gap of 2 to 3 hours between your dinner and bedtime. So there is a lot more on this slide. I won't go into that. Essentially, this is the same thing. Your priority, what would be your priority if you want to stay healthy? You can take care of health by this 1, 2, 3. And then second, after this, if that doesn't work, then come to medicine. And lastly, surgical treatments. So we talked of this, we talked of self, and we talked of body. Now, if you look at whether the human being is isolated or it is a part of a larger whole, so you'll find that you're a part of the family, you're a part of society, there is the nature, you're part of this nature, entire existence. So now you can see that you can't really talk of health in the human being without looking at it, through the holistic vision, through a holistic perspective. So therefore, you get to, when you want to talk of holistic health, you have to talk of the healthy self, you have to talk of a healthy body, you also have to talk of healthy environment. So this is just a gist, a glimpse of, what I wanted to talk about today. And I think I may have taken a little extra time, I think because we started a little late also. But, you all can decide if there is time for a couple of questions, we'll do that. Otherwise, I can leave you with these thoughts. There is a book called The Foundation Course on Holistic Human Health, its Philosophy and Practice, which has been written by 3 authors, one of whom is me. And we've tried to put across some of these thoughts for, people. The online version of this book is absolutely free. The printed version, there is a cost to it, but let me say here that none of the authors is taking any honorarium or any kind of royalty for the book. Whatever proceeds happen, they are going to go to the Human Values Foundation. So I just wanted to mention that. So if you're interested, you can, in fact, I think we have a link to that is here. This is the book. So if you all are interested, you can go to that site and you can download it for free if you wish. And what I was wanting to show is these are some of the other interesting videos that you can look at. There is an earthing movie. There is Plant Pure Nation, Forks Over Knives, some very educational, nice documentary movies that may be worth taking a look at. Yes, Vinay. I'm sorry, I just went like a train, but I thought since time is short.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Can you hear me, doctor?
Yeah, ma'am,
Okay.
I think they have some questions, so
Yes, please.
voice is not very clear, but yeah, still you can ask the question.
Okay. What kind of fruits or food would you suggest for diabetic person?
For diabetes,
Diabetic, or maybe a sugar level is on the border. So what kind of food would you suggest? Fruit or food? Fruit
fruit
for
for
diabetic.
diabetes.
Yes.
Okay. So essentially, if you look at diabetes, what is happening is, whatever you eat, if it is causing a sudden surge in the blood sugar, the body, the pancreas is not able to cope. It's not able to produce enough insulin to get rid of this huge surge of blood sugar. Now, that doesn't mean that only sugar causes this surge. Interestingly, what we call high glycemic foods are all these foods like white bread, potato, white rice, even many things like that, which are in some ways quite processed. And when you eat those, there is a sudden rapid surge of blood sugar. And what that does is, one is the body can't cope with it. The other is you as soon as it surges up, very soon after that it falls. And again, you feel hungry. So you eat many, many meals, many more meals than you need to. So if you're going to have idli, instead of having, that idli rava and washed urad dal, instead of that, use coarse rava made of millets, use brown rice instead of the idli rava, which is very fine processed. And instead of the washed urad dal, you can use the whole urad dal, or at least the split urad dal, which has the covering on it so that the fiber is there. So if you change all your food habits to having coarse, so if you're having atta or suji rava, instead of that, if you take dalia, cracked wheat, that will be better. It is more coarse, closer to the natural form. So if you are having anything that you're refining, don't refine. Make it as close to the natural form as possible. When it comes to fruit, all fruits are fine if you're eating enough fruit. So if you're, many people say, I can't eat this and I can't eat that because I have diabetes. But interestingly, if you eat ample fruit on a daily basis, you will not get diabetes because fruit has a lot of fiber. If you extract the juice from it, maybe you're concentrating it and you're having only that sugar content, which is making your blood sugar rise. But if you have fruit in the form of fruit, there is enough fiber in it that it is slowly released into the bloodstream so that surge doesn't happen. So I would say that if you're already diabetic and you're on medication, you can, do this in conjunction with your doctor. If your doctor doesn't talk about fruit and says no fruit, then I would suggest go to another doctor and check it out for yourself. There is enough evidence now, but you can look at it and, take an informed decision. Yeah. I hope that answered the question.
One more question.
Yes.
What is the typical time you could give before your last meal and bedtime?
I couldn't get the question.
Can you,
Vinay, could you-
can you please come near to that speaker and then talk? We are not able to hear clearly. Whoever wants to ask question can come closer and ask. That would help.
What is the typical time that we should give before your last meal and bedtime?
What is the time gap between the last meal and bedtime?
Right.
Yeah. So at least 2 to 3 hours, preferably 3 hours, but minimum 2 hours. So if you close your dinner by 8 o'clock, then you can sleep by 10 o'clock. And 10 o'clock is good time to sleep, because if you sleep later than that, you're interfering with the repair processes that are happening in the body. So try to finish your meal. In fact, they say between 6:30 and 8 is a good time to have your dinner. Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. I think that was a very insightful session on health and mental well-being. And these sessions are very much required in today's life because in today's hustle and bustle of life, everybody tend to forget about our health or they just neglect it. And it is really important to take care of our health and especially the topics which you have said and the interconnection between physical and mental well-being. I think everybody needs to take proper care on their well-being. I think, if you're an artist, say if you're an artist, and if you have a vision to draw something beautiful, or if you have a vision to draw a paint, what is that fundamental element you require? A canvas. Without a canvas, we cannot draw a picture. The same way, we might have a lot of visions in life to do better in life, but if we don't take care of our physical well-being, our mental well-being, we'll be a failure. So thank you so much for taking us through this session.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your patient listening and your participation. Thank you all. Namaste.
So now we'll be having Mr. Rajesh. So he's a physical fitness trainer. He's having 9 years of experience. So he'll be taking only 10 minutes of session. So he'll be just showing some physical exercise, how we have to have our exercise every day.
Unmute Raj. Please unmute yourself. Rajesh, unmute yourself. అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి అక్కడ బటన్ ఉంది కదా అన్మ్యూట్ బటన్ నొక్కండి స్పీకర్ బటన్ ఉంది దానిపైన ఓకే
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead and talk.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, madam.
Yeah, good evening, good evening.
My name is Rajesh. I'm a fitness trainer. There's 9 years experience will be there. Actually, nowadays fitness is very important. Every person. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Nowadays, why means now before Corona, we have so many immunity problems or some health issues. So many people are dead. Why means some food. Mainly thing is diet. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, if you have any doubts, fitness means if you to ask me, I will tell you that doubts are clear.
Yeah.
Or weight loss or everything.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah,
Many people now resort to protein powder, and protein bars.
Yeah, ma'am.
Something else my children keep telling me,
Yeah.
how healthy, correct?
How?
powder. Protein powder. How healthy is that? Can we depend on that?
Yeah, ma'am, actually you have so many fitness are there. Nowadays you have Zumba or aerobics or
Yeah.
so
Mr.
fitness-
Rajesh, I think question that, she's asking is protein powders. There are a lot of protein
Yeah,
powders that
what
are
I
available.
Waters will be there.
So,
That's
these are
not
good.
why means you have stored from kidneys or something or issues will be there. Nowadays 25 below is not there in issues. You have 25 after you have to issues will be there.
Yeah, I think
There
what
is side
Mr. Rajesh
effect.
is suggesting is protein powders are not good. Age below 25 years may not be so evident with the health issues, but after 25 years, it all shows up with the health.
Hair fall will be there or so much problems will be there. 30 above.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
about keratin powder?
Creatine, you have stored in kidney stones, ma'am. Not use that one. Creatine. Actually, before my weight is 55, and after I gain in 130 kgs. Again, I lost in 74 kgs in six pack, Mr. Telangana. This creatine also you have to store in kidney stones. Not use that one, ma'am. So many people are increase the creatine will be have to size gain, means the body will be bulk.
I think what he's trying to tell is, his own experience that he had, when he took all these products, he gained so much of weight, above 100 kgs he was, but then he lost 70 kgs. He feels like all these things will create more health issues than giving a help.
Another question, what is the right age to start going to a gym, proper gym regularly for boys?
Boys, yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
18, ma'am.
18?
Actually, age is not problem, ma'am. Weight is problem.
Oh, weight is the problem, okay.
Yeah, weight is problem. You have to small children will be there now. You have to go for a cricket or something. 10th class below. Yeah, ma'am.
You're asking me the weight of the child?
Yeah, ma'am. You have
Okay.
to be there now, child. Yeah, children's like age will be 13, 14 years, like that.
Okay, age is 16 and weight is 50, 40, between 45 and 50.
Below 45 and 50.
Yes.
Yeah, now that weight is okay, ma'am. 45 and 50. Main thing is you have to parts. Why means you have to, his tummy is there, no? Tummy, lower body, upper body, like some, you have to fat will be stored in lower body. Main thing, fat, females. Ma'am,
Okay.
do you have any doubts?
If there are no questions, he can continue talk. Huh?
Yeah, maybe you can show some exercises to us so that our team can have a everyday.
I think voice is not very clear, but what I understand, Rajesh, you can continue talk. In the end, we can have Q&A.
Yeah, sir. Actually, some exercise also will be there, sir. You have home training. Home means you have to freelance training without weights. Nowadays, you have to so many problems will be there. But you have to do any workout, means any activity like cycling, like walking, like running. You have to do anything, any activity in the body. Nowadays, you have to, food will be also not good.
Yeah, you can share some exercise that people can do at home. What are some exercises that people can do at home?
Hey, actually, free hand exercise will be there, sir, without weights. Free hand exercise. That is very good for home training. Free hand.
Free hand exercises. Can you just probably show how to do those exercises?
We
Just
have to do some exercises. I will tell you, sir. Actually, high knees, high jumps. These are CrossFit training workouts. These are specifically you have to mat floor exercise.
Hand exercise, like running, walking,
Burpees, high knees, jumping jacks, or everything will be there.
yeah. Any other exercise that you would suggest to all of them?
Actually, floor exercise. Actually, you have to only one man is clearly is there, but tummy is there. That is reduced for only tummy. Also, that is exercise will be there. Each part will be exercise will be there.
Okay. So what are some exercises you suggest to reduce the tummy or
Yeah, so many abs workouts will be there, sir. Is lower abs and upper abs or doubles will be there. That exercise will be have to floor.
Okay, sure. Okay, when Rajesh was suggesting about exercise for tummy, some of them are looking at their tummy. Okay, nice. I think that Swapna, that's it from Rajesh. He suggesting that to have some exercises at home, whatever way it is possible. Some of the exercise that he has suggested is freehand exercises that which can be which we all can do at home. Okay. Yeah. So Rajesh, I'll continue. Are you done?
Actually, continue, sir. Actually, is waiting for client. So client there.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? That's why, sir.
Yeah, 5 o'clock is gym starts. Actually, Rajesh
Actually,
is the one who's
yes,
Rajesh is
sir.
the one who's taking care of gym in Kompally. He's like, he take care of entire gym. He has 9 years of experience and is 3 times gold medalist in powerlifting. And right now he's taking care of the gym. We thought it would be helpful to know some details from him. But thank you, Rajesh, for taking out time. I know 5 o'clock starts, but thanks for staying back.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Probably, okay. Rajesh, you want to leave? You can leave.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Probably Rajesh could communicate well, clearly, articulate his thoughts, but he's definitely, is somebody who can help if you need any help in terms of knowing some, how to maintain your physical health, probably can help out. So Swapna, how much time I have? I can see somebody.
Another 5 minutes.
Another 5 minutes. Okay, I have 5 minutes. So somebody's already started doing exercise. I can see that behind. That's nice. Quick implementation. So we heard from Dr. Sharmila, who's a doctor in Apollo. 24 years she has experience of serving in the healthcare industry, but she stopped her practice and she's doing this session so that she can create awareness in many of us how to reduce dependency on medicine. Past almost 15 years, she never took any antibiotics. That's how she maintained her health actually. So she helped my son when he was really sick. She was the one who helped us a lot for his better health. So that's how we connected. And I thought it would be helpful her to talk when Swapna asked to help out with somebody. She was the first person came to my mind. I hope it was really helpful for all of us what she has thought. So she talked about physical health in terms of from a medical point of view or medical point of view. And there was a person, Rajesh, who talked about physical health, exercise and all. But I would like to just take a quick 2-3 minutes of your time to talk one of the important aspect is the spiritual health. So we know physical health is important. We know mental health is important. We know social health is important. But if we don't take care of our spiritual health, it will impact our physical health as well as our mental health. I just want to share a screen and I have a few slides for all of us to go through. So we all need to take care of our spiritual health as well. We should not ignore it. So are you aware of what is affecting your health? Probably some of us have, some health issues, but do you really know what is causing those health effects? What is causing your that bad health? What is the root cause of your health issues? Are you aware of it? Many times when we talk about health, we always talk about physical health, like any sickness, fever, or any chronic diseases that we go through. We feel like, this is my physical body which is causing a health issues in my body. But if you really look at deeper into it, it is not only your physical health, but your emotional health also. Your emotional well-being is also important. If you are emotionally not stable or if you're emotionally not strong, it will impact your physical health. So on your screen, you can see a health cycle which talks about, physical health, like pain, fatigue, or disability, insolation, or some of the negative symptoms of physical health problems that can impact your mental health. Okay, if you are having some, physical problems, in the sense, some disease that you're going through, it can, those negative feelings can impact your emotional health. You will feel like, oh, why I'm going through this fever? When will I come out of it? If you are feeling negative about it, rather trying to overcome, it will impact your emotional health. If your emotional health is getting affected, and what are some of the causes for your emotional health is like anger. If you're constantly giving into anger, getting frustrated, getting irritated with everything, your emotional health will get damaged. Which will lead to depression or anxiety problems it will create. And even guilt of resentment. For example, you're not able to forgive somebody. You had some conflicts with somebody, within your family or external family or with somebody. If you have some conflicts and you're not able to resolve, you're not able to forgive, you're not able to overcome them, then it will impact those negative feelings. The moment you see that person, you will feel negative about that person, and those negative feelings will impact your emotional health, which in fact will impact your physical as well as spiritual health. If you're emotionally not healthy, those negative feelings, those unhealthy emotions will impact your physical health. You will fall sick, you will lose your hair, you will not have proper diet, you will not be able to have proper digestion, you will not be able to sleep well because you are emotionally disturbed. If you are able to take care of your physical health, which will impact your emotional health. If you are strong physically and emotionally, you will also be strong spiritually. But if you are spiritually unhealthy, some of the spiritual unhealthy things that we can consider are, fear, hopelessness, lack of faith, not trusting God, not trusting people, lack of autonomy, lack of control, are some of the negative feelings that are the symptoms which will impact your emotional health as well as your physical health. So spiritually, if you're not taking care of your spiritual health, whatever way possible that is with you, if you're not practicing your spiritual health, being meditation or going to church, reading Bible, or whatever that you can do. Since I go to church, since I'm part of a church, so I'm talking more from a church context, that we need to take care of our spiritual health. Being in the proper fellowship, that will help us to grow closer to God. Reading our Bible, praying would really help us to be strong spiritually, which will eventually help your emotional health, which will eventually help your well-being of your health. So both, all three are important, which are interlinked: physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And one of the major factor which causes all three, your physical, emotional, and spiritual, is stress. What is stress? Stress is basically your response to the challenging events or things that you face in your life and how you respond to them. The way you respond is actually a stress. If you either fight or you flight, that means you run away from that difficult situation, or you try to fight with the person or fight with things. that actually causes stress. But if you handle properly stress, are you able to properly handle your stress or not? That is what you need to really think. So there are three types of stress. One is acute. That means it just happens temporarily at that moment. Somebody said something to you, and then you feel stressed about it. It's like a temporary that happens and then disappears. The second one is episodic. That means you go through certain stressful moments and then you finish, and then again it repeats. Like, for example, you're not able to forgive somebody. It could be your spouse or your extended family or somebody. And then whenever you see them, you get stressed out. That is episodic. Whenever you go through the stressful moments, you get stressed out. And the third one is chronic. Chronic is like a long-term suffering, what you go through, probably chronic diseases, or it could be a long-term relationship issues that you are going through, which can have a lot of effect on your health because of the stress, chronic stress. So these three, we need to understand what level you are at. Is it acute, or episodic, or you're really going through chronic stress, and accordingly you have to really take care of yourself. So some of the ways that you can manage your stress is self-compassion. Show some compassion to yourself, and take care of yourself, your body, or spiritual health, your physical health. Take some rest, focus on certain things. It could be your job, it could be responsibilities that you're doing at job, or you're spiritually something you're focused. So focus on certain things will help you to overcome the stress. Having a right focus in life. Emotion regulations. If you are going through emotionally disturbed, you need to regulate your emotions. Let not emotions control you, but your emotions should be controlled by you. Okay, cognitive agility. Cognitive agility is something that you grow in certain expertise. You become an expert in certain areas. Your talents, your skills you develop by developing your cognitive agility. And then social connection, be in a right fellowship, be with the right people who can spiritually help you, who can lead you in the right directions, who can help you with the right life, not leading into the wrong ways of this life. Okay, since I have less time, want to share these two scriptures from Bible, since I thought this opportunity for me to just share this. So I want to take this opportunity to share these two scriptures. Though physically we may falling sick or getting older in age and facing a lot of issues with health or different things, but the assurance that what we have in God in 2 Corinthians 4:16-17 talks about, therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So though probably we are going through a lot of difficulties and challenging situations in our lives, which is affecting a lot of things, but if you are in God, if you are doing what is right in God's sight, though all these momentary troubles are there in life, but the eternal glory, what God is want to give to all of us, is far better, far greater than the difficulties what we face in life. One of the greatest example that we see in Matthew 7:9-10, which talks about the centurion, his faith. Though he was not a Jew, though he was a Gentile, but he had great faith in Jesus. And this is what Jesus told about him. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning to the crowd following him, he said, I tell you, I have not found such a great faith even in Israel. Then the man who had been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. So centurion had a great faith that God can do something for him. So let's have a great faith as you all trying to do something for the society. I really admire and appreciate your work in different ways that you want to help out the society, being an NGO and trying to reach out to the rural areas, and unfortunately those people are less fortunate, and you're trying to help them. So may God bless all your efforts, all that your organization is doing. God bless them, and personally you all also have a good health, that is physical health, spiritual health, and mental health. Thanks a lot for this great opportunity that we all can connect with you. Thank you, Swapna, for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Raman. Thank you for taking time, and especially, taking time to miss Dr. Sharmila also. Thank you for providing her session for us. So, is Mr. Vinay Kumar. So, he is leading the church. So, currently, he left the job and everything, and giving his, complete time to lead the full-time ministry. So, Have a great day, and thank you so much.